Okay, let's do this. It is a Saturday night, and I'm going to do a little bit of work on my game. Looks like a couple of people joined us, which is great. Been working quite a bit this week to get stuff done. Been getting some feedback from people. It was great. A few days ago, we got on a call, and a handful of folks who had never seen the game, never seen me play it, had no connection to the game, got access to the game, and I got to watch one of them play the game, and it was really good feedback. I had forgotten how useful that can be, to have that kind of feedback, to have feedback of somebody who doesn't know what's going on, and get from their perspective what worked, what didn't work, what was annoying, what was smooth. And so I've been working on that. Some of that we're gonna work on tonight. And there's also was on Thursday, a big, pretty serious bug came up. I'll show you some of this. I've been working to redo the selection. I want the level editor in the game to be as smooth as possible. I want it to be as smooth as I can make it. I'm hoping people are going to spend a good chunk of time in the level editor creating levels for the workshop. And so I want to make it smooth and as easy to use as possible. And one of those things was adding in multi-select. And that works. It's great. It seems pretty user-friendly. Definitely not totally perfect, but it's getting there. But that turned out to break something. That broke something. The multi-selection ended up breaking the ability to save a level. Which speaks to some fragility of the systems. That shouldn't be happening. Right, what I do in my selection system shouldn't be affecting what's happening in the save system. So I've been working for the last 2 days to fix that and getting close to that. It required, identifying the solution, the issue wasn't all that hard. It was pretty quick to see what the problem was. Getting around that proved to be pretty challenging. Got a couple hundred extra lines of code to deal with that. It also meant I got to rip out a bunch of code, which was great. So the code should be more robust. It should be less fragile, less brittle. And it's almost there. Almost there. There's one last piece that it's being saved. I need to get one more piece to be able to get loaded in. So let me show you a little bit of what I've been working on. Been playing around with the start scene, which was interesting. Didn't love the first start scene, but it did give a little bit of instructions. It gave a little bit of context, and it was interesting to have removed that and then have people test it. I think that was part of their confusion. So anyways, we come into the level designer. We now have multi-selection. We can drag around and select things. It should be, it might be broken again. It's a distinct possibility. We've got these exclusion zones. So this portal is not supposed to go near those, our drink or our sandwich. And that's definitely got to happen. We've got to have some sort of exclusion zone, because if you put a portal right on top of a sandwich, it just makes it too easy. And so right now what's happening is those drift away, they move away, which is kind of counterintuitive. It doesn't really, it works, but it kind of doesn't make some sense. So we're going to fix that. That's going to be the first thing we're going to work on. Anyways, we got this multi-selection, so we can move multiple objects around. But you may notice too that the portals are now coming in singles. They're coming individuals. And this is something that I thought I was going to need to do, but this was actually the piece that broke the save. When the multi-selection would unparent the portal from its parent, and that broke the whole save architecture structure, and kind of sucked because there was all this code, all this extra special code. If this is a teleporter, if this is a portal, do all these special things. If it's anything else, you can just do the same thing. And so that was kind of bad. So that's what broke the save. as we unparented this. And so the structure of the prefab was different, or not the structure of the prefab, but the structure of the instance was different. And so when it tried to save it, it threw an error and it was a problem. So now, since the portals are coming in as singles, if I go through them, nothing happens because they're not linked together. So now we're going to work on the hotkeys of this. But if I hold shift and I click, I can actually drag and draw a connection from one portal to another. I think is pretty fun in a hand-drawn game. Now the connections are hand-drawn. So now if I come down here to this portal, I'll come through that portal. You also notice that I've added in these pink particles. This was a viewer suggestion this last week, to instead of doing the paths with a line render, which leaves these lines between the portals and would actually be pretty complex to resolve, do particles over distance, and it solves that problem, which is pretty sweet. So, and then again, back to the portals. If I now want to connect these two portals, I can connect these two portals like so. And if I now go through this portal, hopefully this is working, I now come out that portal. So a player can connect and reconnect portals in different ways, which I think is good. This mechanic can be extended to other things. I want to put in buttons and levers and let them be connected to things like doors and other bits and pieces. So I think this is a mechanic that's going to get reused. And while it took a lot of time to re-engineer for portals that were already working, I think it was a good thing to do. What's not working right now is the visualization of these connections. That's what I'm not able to reload. So if I was to save this level and reload this level, the portals would still work. The connections between them would still work, but there's no visualization between those portals. And so that's what I'm working on. I'm not going to work on that tonight. I'm going to work on that offline, but it's going to be to recreate this hand-drawn path. Other piece that I've been working on is now if you click on one of those objects that's connected, the connection follows it around. That took a fair amount of effort to make that one work. That kind of works. They just scale and rotate. It's not perfect. They'll go off screen a little bit, but you can always redraw the connection too if you want to. And then that works. So that's what I've been working on. And what I want to work on tonight is, first off, is redoing this exclusion zone and how it functions. So right now, the things that activate the exclusion zone are the portals. We can't put the portals too close together. Oop, there's a little flaw. And it's not going to matter because we're going to get rid of that motion. Also, the gravity wells can't go close to a goal target, if you will, or part of your lunch. Oh, I think what I want to do instead of this kind of janky motion, just feels weird, is instead allow the player to place them. They're just not going to be functional. And so we'll indicate that maybe by a change of color. We'll indicate that with the portals in the sense that they can't connect. You can't build a connection to that portal. And I think I want to redo the art for the exclusion zone. Some playtesters thought that was pretty hard to understand what was going on. To me, it makes sense that you have these arrows pointing away. You can't keep it in there, but I think I'm going to redo that, make it a little bit, hopefully maybe a little more clear as to that you can't go there. So that's going to be the first thing I want to work on tonight, is getting this exclusion zone redone a little bit. We're going to stick with the arrows at first. We're going to work on deactivating these objects, so to speak. And yeah, that's what we're going to work on first. So these things can't get placed there, or they're not going to function when they're too close to it, which I think is just a better, I think it's a better solution. So first thing we're going to do, we're gonna jump into some code here. So this is the no go near goal class. This is what is attached to, this is what's attached to the objects. This is just that I can, just a component that I can add on to the game object or the prefab so that it will react to being too near to the goal. What is the game about? The game, well, let me show you. I'll show you what the game's about. So this came out of a game jam this summer. So it's a pretty simple, definitely looks like it could be a mobile game. But the idea is it's a fun, lighthearted, playful physics puzzle game. So we've got a handful of levels here. Let's just grab one. I don't know. We'll come in here at this level. So for example, you're this little character here, and you're trying to get to your lunch. That's it. You're trying to get to your lunch. And the first few levels here are just trying to teach players about different mechanics and how things work. So this one, we can't go through the walls. If I target him this way, we'll just bounce off the walls. And so the obvious solution is to try to wrap around. The goal here is to show the player that you can wrap around the levels as well. Oh, I got an error here. I changed a bunch of windows. I thought I'd fixed it, but let's go back. I'll show you another level. We'll fix that error too. It's an easy level. That's an easy error to fix. Another level, something like this. No, this is gonna good one to show too. This one you're allowed one portal, and that's back from when the portals came in pairs. So let's keep looking for another level here. This is just the nature of things, that it's just broken. And again, my portal numbers are wrong. Here we go. Here's one that'll work. So here, for example, again, I can put in some portals. So maybe I'm going to put one down here. I'll put another portal up here, and I'll connect those, something like that. And then that'll shoot me out, but I need to turn that corner. So I'm going to put a bomb in there. Help me turn that corner, like something like that. So again, just a simple, playful physics game. Pretty simple, but I really like it because of that simplicity. I really like it as somebody with a day job, somebody who's got a lot else going on. Something I feel like I can tackle in my spare time. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. And it's just been really fun to create. So let's get back to this no go near goal. Very well named. And what we've got here, we subscribe to an event, so that when an object is unselected, basically that's when the player drops it and leaves it in place. We're gonna check our position, and we're just gonna check how close we are to our goals. And part of what that does is use this function here, near goal, just to check and see if we are close to it. If we are, we return a Boolean. Pretty simple. What I really want to change here is if we are too near a goal, it calls this coroutine, which is what moved the object away from the goals, the sandwich, the drink, the chips. And so that's what I want to, we're just going to get rid of that, and we're going to change some functionality, add some functionality, and hopefully make this a little bit more intuitive. Hey there, Tech Dave. Thanks for joining again. Let's see. When placing an item near a goal, maybe stop the item's animation and turn red. The goal could reveal a circle around itself showing the area. Tech Dave, you were almost exactly what that's almost exactly what I was thinking. I think I'm gonna reinvent the exclusion zone as like a circle, maybe with some X's, maybe some, I was trying to figure out some shading in there to kind of fill in that circle. With the same style of the rest of the art. So that's definitely what we're going to be doing. And then I'll likely turn the object itself red. One of the playtesters who did playtest the game, he warned me about using color as indications. So I want to be careful with that too. And his concern was about folks that are colorblind. And so if I rely too much on color to indicate what's going on, that's a problem. So that could be a great reason to stop the animation. And actually, a stopped animation might be a really good way to do it. So let's work on that. We're going to, just so we don't get errors here, we're gonna do something like this. We're gonna cut this out of here, and we're gonna break. We're just gonna get rid of that code. Okay. So now we're not going to move away anymore. But what I want to look at is how here on the prefab, I wanted to look here at this level object. So I've already got this color for the selected color. And I wanted to see how I wanted to do that. So I've got that. I guess I can put another color on this no-go. It's not really a big problem. So let's put a color on here. Color, it's called non-functional color. And let's just, for now, we're going to make this we're just going to make it red. I don't think that's going to look very good. A lot of the colors that I have are faded. They're not super saturated, but that will do the trick. And we're also going to do a private. We're going to cache the animator. Tech Dave, I think you've got a really good idea there to stop the animation. I like that idea. So let's do toggle too close. So if we're going to toggle too close, we're going to get the animator and we're going to set it. We're going to turn it off. Something like that. And I'll deal with the color here in a minute. I want to go look and see how I did it on the other class. Oh, I don't like that. Do toggle near goal. And then we'll do is near goal. And this is going to be is near goal, something like that. And we'll do something with the sprite color, but I want to see how that's. And actually, let's change this. We're going to do this differently. And do toggle near goal. And we're going to put in that near goal function and just do it like that. We'll feed in. We are near a goal. Nice and Tech David should let you, YouTube should let you put a link in there. Should let you do that. Okay, nice and tidy. I want to look at this level selection. I just want to see how I got this sprite. Oh, there we go. I just got them in children. Okay, that's a great way to do it. That is a good way to do it. I like that. And we'll just do private sprites. Don't need to make that capitalized. No, it's not actually when the sprite render. Okay. And then we just want to change our color. So we're going to do for each, for each sprite renderer in sprites. We want to do sprites, sprite renderer dot color equals is near goal. We're gonna do whatever I call this need to rename that non-functional color. Otherwise, we're gonna do color white. Let's rename that. That's just a bad near goal color. Great. Oh, there you go, tech tape. Yeah, that's something I probably just need to go through, but even still, yeah, I need to go through and just think about whether that's a good idea. Because right now, when you select something, it changes color, which for me is a nice, simple way to make that happen. Rather than say putting boxes around everything, I thought about putting boxes around to indicate what's selected. But yeah, Detective, yeah, your LinkedIn show up there. I wonder why that didn't. It shouldn't be preventing you from posting. Okay, so let's see. It might just be that easy, actually. We're gonna have to do something else to actually make it non-functional, but this will be a good visual indication of whether this is working this way. All right, let's go in here. Nope. Where is our issue? Oh, I didn't get my animator. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we're gonna do animator equals this, get component animator. Something like that. Okay. So the next thing, assuming this is going to work here, next thing that we're going to have to do is actually disable these objects, which I don't think is going to be all that hard. It's going to require a little bit of addition. I don't think it's going to be all that hard. The other thing that this is not going to show that it doesn't work unless you drop it. That's a pretty heinous color. All right, I mean, let's find a better color here. Just gonna go a little more. Oh, I'm on the prefab. I don't think I think it's a little too. That's not bad. I don't love it. I write that number down. I don't want the HSV one. I actually want that one. We're gonna do. Okay. Put that in there. Put in those numbers in, new color. We're gonna do 1. There we go. I don't love that color. I don't know. To me, it's still not quite the visual. I agree. I think it's better than before. It's almost like I wish I could make the sprite bold. You know, make all the lines thicker or make it more obvious that it's broken. But let's see here. It's a little too happy. but it's getting better. I think the lack of animation is good. I think a sound effect too will really help. I think a sound effect will make it a lot better. Yeah, it's a little too pink and happy, but all right, let's work on the functionality and then maybe we'll draw. We'll change the exclusion zone so it looks a little different. Tester said it kind of drew their attention to it and they wanted to put something there, which is fair. If that's what people think, then that's what people think. It doesn't matter what I think. All right. So the next piece is we want to jump into.
Let's pause for a pure, crisp, smart water break. It's the vapor distilled, purely.
Let's see what I want to do here. I'm going to use this to get to my base class. So all the objects that go into the game they inherit from this base level object. And I think the easiest way here to make this work is to simply do a private boolean is functional. What we're going to do is true, like that. And then we're going to create some functions here to adjust this. So
welcome to the future of home internet.
Toggle is functional. Taking a boolean is functional. Yep. Like that. This is functional equals something like that.
This is the home internet that changes everything. Verizon 5G Home. Visit get5ghome.com.
Done with dark spots? We are too. New Neutrogena Rapid Tone Repair Serum with 20% pure vitamin C for smoother, brighter skin in 1 week and visibly reduce dark spots in 4.
Okay. So we have something that looks like that. And we're going to make this. That'll be okay. Let's see. Next prime. What are my thoughts on updating UI elements? Make UI element an observer event listener, injecting scriptable object, and have UI refresh periodically. Something else. For my purposes, I almost exclusively use events, actions, delegates. So yes, the observer pattern. That's the way I like to do it. Sorry, I kind of got a frog in my throat tonight. It's just clean and tidy in my mind. You can really control when it gets called. Yeah, you can just control when it gets called. So yeah, any sort of adjustment, I would recommend the observer pattern. A little change here. And I think it does depend to, I mean, maybe it might depend a little bit on how often you're updating, but to me, that's, yeah, the observer pattern delegates. That's just, it's one of my primary uses of that pattern actually, is to update UI. Okay, so here what I want to do is maybe we'll just make it really simple. Let's go. We need to make that protected. Okay, so, well that'll make it easy if this is protected, or so if this is, we trigger that non-functional thing, we'll just not call this trigger. Okay, so the other thing we need to do, so this is a portal. We need to check. This could be a little, need to think about how we do this, because that'll disable it if the player hits the one that's non-functional. But if they hit the other one, which is most likely what they want to do anyways, that's not gonna stop it. Oh, I guess we just do this. We can just do if portal is functional, is not functional, return. That's easy. Okay, well, let's test that. Well, we haven't triggered that yet. So we need to turn that off. So we're gonna do create another variable, cache this. Something like that. We'll just do is near goal like that. Go back and do this. All right, let's see. Next prime, what are you saying here? Would you still use Observer if you had to update a large number of UIs, such as a bar with 20, 30 stat readouts? It seems a little much to run that many observers. Or am I overthinking it? I would do some testing first. I would test and see if that is an issue. It probably depends on how often you're calling that. If you're, I'm not aware that the delegates themselves or actions, events, whatever, however you want to think of them, have a large overhead. They definitely, I think they do have an overhead as opposed to a direct function call. So what I might be tempted to do in that case where you have these stats readouts, again, depending on how you've engineered it, I might be tempted to create a wrapper class or a stats class that has all the information in it. So then you're just triggering one event and sending that stats class as a whole. And then you can update the stats UI in one step. Now, again, that may not work for your project. So I would do some testing and see if it's a problem. I would guess if you're updating 20 or 30 UI elements every frame, you're gonna see some impact. Yeah. If you're thinking modularity, again, I think it just depends on how tidy that is. I would probably still be tempted to, like I said, send that stats in some sort of custom wrapper and send it out at once. And then, so you're invoking one event with sending out this information, and then all the UI elements can be subscribed to that event and then just pull the data they need off of that object. I think that would actually, I think that potentially could work well. I probably wouldn't have 20 or 30 different events that are saying updating, you know, the health and the intelligence and this or that. I would have one update stats event. Or at least that would be my goal. All right, let's see if this works. All right. Let's add in a couple portals. We'll do a little test here. All right, let's just make sure the portals are working. Okay. Works the other way too. No problem. Okay, so now if I drag this over here and I test this, we should just go straight through the portal. That's awesome. And if I bring it back, should be able to go through my portal again. Love it. It's a little ugly. It's a little ugly, but it works. And I think that's not bad. All right, so let's try the same thing with the gravity well. This should be easy because it just needs to be non-functional. So we're gonna go into our gravity well. Oh, this is probably... Okay. Anyways, we're gonna go here. We're gonna do, if not functional, we're gonna return. Yeah, next prime. Yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah. I've become a bigger and bigger fan of kind of those wrapper classes to contain all the data. Yeah, Tech Dave, that worked. That was quicker than I expected it to be. I didn't expect it to be quite that easy. And there's going to be a little per item functionality of what it means to not function, but that seems to work pretty well. So let's see what there's no animator attached to a gravity well? How the hell's the gravity well animating? Well, this person was stupid. Designer of that wasn't very clever. Well, should we fix that? Let's fix that. Because the... Alright, it's just turning the sprite on and off. I just wanted to look at the timing. 2 seconds. Okay. We're going to remove that component. We're going to come up here to the gravity well. We're going to do the same thing here. Gravity well. Okay. Then we're going to add a property. And it is the sprite that we are changing. Great. Okay, so here, swirl, let's change that to swirl. Swirl 1, I'm gonna go down a second, change it to swirl 2, and we're gonna go down 1 more second, and it's still gonna be swirl 2. We'll get extra swirls this time. All right. Oh, we don't need those. Complete key. There we go.
Journey can use an experienced guide, and your educational journey is no different. At Arizona State University, we're with you from day
I think
one.
I'm on the wrong time scale.
Our 200 plus programs are designed specifically for online learning, with state-of-the-art technology and personalized support services to empower your success. Find your next journey at ASU, a top 10 university for online bachelor's programs. Tap to learn more or visit us at asuonline.asu.edu.
Squarespace presents all you need to launch a podcast.
Doesn't matter how many times I've done animation, I always get the scale wrong.
On any topic.
Here's why you're wrong.
A Squarespace website with a strong
That's
logos.
probably too slow now.
A mic to do the talking into.
Mic check. 1, 2.
A sponsor, like say, the all-in-one platform that lets you create a beautiful online presence.
Nailed it.
And an email newsletter for when you hit the big time.
My guest today is the King of Portugal.
Whatever your idea is, launch it with Squarespace. Use offer code Spotify for 10% off your first purchase of a domain or website.
Colgate Optic White Renewal toothpaste removes up to 10 years
That's
of
probably
yellow
what
stains.
Okay.
The most hydrogen peroxide in a white
Great.
toothpaste.
We now have an animator on there. That should work.
Brighter self. That's all the way back to
That's an easier and cleaner fix than going back and finding the animator on the child object or trying to write anything like that.
Remove 10 years
All
of
right,
yellow
so there's
stains
our
with Colgate Optic White Renewal toothpaste when brushing twice daily for 4 weeks.
kind of lost my cool swirl, but we'll work on that later. So if I put it in here, it stops moving. That's great. It doesn't. So I should be able to slide past this thing without it pulling me in. Great. Move it back out. It's a little too, why is that so sensitive there? Huh. And now we should be able to pull ourselves around. Perfect. Okay. So we've now got kind of our no-go. That's working. That's pretty horrible, ugly looking. Actually, I think I like that red better than the pink. Let's go in and reset that. Get that. Reset the color on the portal. Okay, so the next thing I want to do, I tried doing this before. I wasn't happy with it. I want to redesign that exclusion zone. So those arrows that are pointing out, I want to redesign those a little bit. And to do that, we're going to use a little drawing program. So we're going to create a new diagram here. I want to actually 512 is fine. Make a 512. Nope, not like that. Guys, do a new one. All right, like that. I'm gonna fill in the background black just so I can see it. We're gonna add a new layer. I'm gonna start with a circle. So I'm gonna get on here. I'm gonna look for a circle. You'd think I could draw a circle on my own, but I can't. Okay, so that is an enormous circle. How about a smaller circle? It's a really small circle. Why don't I have just like normal size circles here? There, that's sort of normal. All right, copy image. Bring that back in here. Paste that in. And we're going to shrink that down. Still a little new to this program. And we're going to stretch it out so that it fills the circle pretty well, or the size pretty well. Ouch. Doesn't matter how many times I do it. I make that same mistake every time. I resize it, forget that I haven't saved it, and then do something different. There's got to be a way to there's got to be like a grab tool so you can move the window around, but I have not figured out what it is. So I have to use the scroll bars. Okay. Wherever we go, let's push enter so I don't lose that. Eduardo, you're right. I could search by size. I was just being lazy. Just being lazy. But you were absolutely right. Okay, so here's where you go. I'll get to see how bad my drawing can really be as I try to trace a circle. I don't really care about the shape all that much. I just want to stay inside the sprite. Yes, this is painful. I'm even using a tablet and a stylus. Okay. I've got a hand-drawn circle. Great. So one of the pieces that I've been struggling with, like this is good. This is a circle. It works. Then what do I put in the inside? What do I put on the inside? How do I, with kind of the style that I've got going here, how do I do this? One part of me thought like, oh, let's just do like X's. You know, something like that. It feels crazy. Like if I wasn't doing it in the style, I'd put some sort of gradient in there, maybe a little bit of texture. I don't know, that feels a little crazy. I'm gonna leave that. Let's go to another. So I could do something that's a little more than like that. I guess I can probably fade the opacity of this level. To me, that just looks like garbage. Tried something. Then I almost feel like I'm gaining, you know. Now I feel like I'm almost like attracting something like that. Graphical Boss, the 2021 Global Game Jam. I couldn't even tell you when it is, so I'm not signed up for it, but I'm not going to be doing another game jam until I finish this game. Oh, there you go. Next time I like that. I like that. Let's turn this one off. Try to keep it inside the... Next Prime, you might have the winning idea there. It looks like an energy static ball. It does a little bit. Let's tune that down a little bit, maybe. Maybe we'll tune down the circle too. We'll turn that down so the opacity of that is down a little bit as well. I guess I can do that in Unity. Yeah, there. Let's see what that looks like. Let's turn that background off. We'll export this. Yes, I keep my project in a drive called Video Projects. All right. All right, we're gonna call this exclusion area 2. We're gonna call it. All my drawings are so simple that I don't usually bother saving the original Fire Alpaca file. We're saving this nice small size. Okay, so let's look at, let's go to, no, I don't want to open it. I want my prefab. I'm just in the wrong folder. All right, let's look at our chips here. So what I want is, there's my exclusion. Here is my, let's go to our scene view so we can see this thing. Turn that on. There's my exclusion. And then I'm just gonna change this to that exclusion. Saturate that just a tad bit more. Oh, Pale Rider, any tips for baking light in Unity? Yeah, I'd go with Eduardo. Yeah, like it's a long process. I haven't done it in a very long time. Well, actually, it's not that long, I guess. But it's been 3 or 4 years. I remember it being a junk show. I remember it taking forever, and I remember it would fail. I remember I was trying to bake a level on an older computer. It was no joke, like a 24-hour process, and it would fail at like hour 21. It was really quite frustrating. All right, let's take a look and see how that looks. I do want to make one change. I think right now the exclusion zone's on top. So let's pull in our chips. Here's our chips. And we lost our color. I think the animation is a little too much. Let's go to our chips here. Let's do I'm gonna stick this, maybe it already was. Stick this on a lower level, make sure it's behind the chips. I guess with the transparency, it's hard to tell. Let's also edit this. Animation it's just too bouncy.
Stand out, and I didn't want to be traditional. For a lot of people, they said
So we're gonna do like,
factors stopped them from wanting to see girls ride bulls.
oops,
When you
not
ride
that.
bulls, you can get hurt. When you play football, you can get hurt. It's how life works.
Can't type.
It's definitely technique. It's a lot of strength and 110% mental game.
Maybe I'm gonna slow it down a little bit too.
Presents Life on the Western Slope. Watch Tiana's story at rmhpstories.com.
It's taken me pretty much everywhere I could want to go.
Yeah, I think that's a little
Most freestyle riders don't even get to see their
the slower is a little bit better. It feels a little bit more like something I shouldn't be doing.
where I try to put my focus. I'm just going to enjoy the last years I have to ride and share them with my son. Can't really think of anything better.
Rocky Mountain Health Plans presents Life on the Western Slope. Watch Eric's story at rmhpstories.
I think that's better.
Hey Spotify,
Draws your attention.
the banner to listen to today's top hits, the 50 best songs from around the world, always fresh and always brand new. Brought
Knock
to you
that down
by
even more.
Genesis GV80 SUV, boundless by design.
Okay. I think I also at some point want to bring in do tween so that these things don't just like snap on, they might fade into existence. Yeah, Tech Dave, I think it does. It definitely looks better than the arrows. I'm not sure it's totally final, but you can Control A and edit the whole window animation duration. Let me try that. Oh, look at that. That is awesome. Thank you. I did not know you could do that. I feel like this line here is maybe a tad on the thick side. See how easily we can, I don't know how easily we can edit that in. How easily can we edit that? Well, no, I want to do. Why is it not letting me? See, can I? I know how to do this in GIMP. I just don't know how to do it here. I'm gonna leave it for now. Whatever. I'm not too worried about it for right now. I'm gonna live with that. So let's put that into our other exclusion zones. Actually, we'll just, this is a prefab. That was good that I made that a prefab. Let's see how that looks. Let's see what else. Also, F zooms the animation in case it's too small, just like that. Like, good. So F works just like it does in the screen view, kind of focus in on what's going on. It's not exact. That might be X Prime, good call. I think that's, I don't think it's perfect. I don't know if it's final. But I think that definitely looks better. It's pretty clear, like, don't go in there. I like the slower animation. Great. Maybe I can copy that same, I should copy that same no-go color. That's what I should, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's copy the same color from the exclusion. Actually, I'm gonna cheat a little bit, take a screenshot of that. Okay, let's put that into our no-go here. On my other monitor here. Oop. And we don't really need that extra 0. I just got a chord on top of my keyboard for my tablet. And the alpha is 0.87. Just gonna unplug my tablet. I don't think I'm gonna need it anymore. Get it out of the way. Okay, let's see how that works. Go to our gravity well. We're going to, oh, why do we have 2 of these? Reset that and get the new color. Reset to get the new color. I could probably just make that private. It's probably a better way to do it so I don't accidentally mess it up. Graphical boss, not sure if you're still there. You brought up the Global Game Jam. When is that? Are you planning on doing that? I like that. It's kind of it's the same color. These pieces, they don't function. We bring them out. I'm not totally settled on it. I think it could use a little more juice. I think it could use a little more interest. But I think that's a pretty good. I think it's a better system than what I had before. I was thinking about not allowing connections, but why? That works. Cool. All right. That looks a little junky at the moment, but I like that. One other, Well, I got a list of other small changes I got to make. All right, so we're gonna get rid of this no connection. I don't think we need to prevent connections. We're just gonna prevent functionality. So we've got that done on our to-do list. All right. Bale Rider, yeah, those are portals. They, depending on your perspective, they can look like something else. Yeah, graphical boss. I think game jams are super fun. I think they're great. I guess I've completed 2. I looked into a third one at one point, and I didn't like the theme. I couldn't come up with a good idea. But I think they're pretty neat. If you get a good theme, especially if the theme is put together, if the theme is created by somebody who, I don't think the theme should be put together by the community, because then you just get these, it's almost like people choose themes that they think would be hard or weird, or whereas like this game came out of the Game Maker's Toolkit Game Jam, and their theme was out of control. It automatically spawned all kinds of ideas. It was a great theme. I think they're super fun. They definitely get you to learn a whole bunch. I gotta say, the Pale Rider, I'm glad you think they were amoebas. The first time I drew them, I thought they were testicles. All right, well, before we dive into this hint system, there was an issue here, and we should be able to fix this pretty quick. So when you complete a level right now, you can retry it. Oh, and actually that's going to break it too. The next level, these 2 buttons are breaking because they're calling the wrong function. So let's go fix that. And that came from changes I made Wednesday or Thursday to how windows were being dealt with. So again, a lot of what I've been doing since the Game Jam is just tidying things up, making it work better, really working towards that vertical slice, getting everything working for just a couple levels and not worrying about the content as much. So let's take a look at that. Level to complete. Okay, so let's turn this alpha up so we can see it. And then what we've got here is things that are just calling the wrong buttons. So what we want to do instead is call close window. Next level, we're going to call level complete close window. And so what I changed basically is from the Game Jam, I had all these different windows. Some would turn on, some would have their alpha go to 0 when they popped up. And it was just kind of a mess between the 2 of them. So what I'm doing now, instead of turning them on and off, I'm just turning their alpha down to 0. You can't, this wasn't a problem from what I saw, but you can occasionally get a lag spike from turning UI objects on and off. It does. I believe it has to refresh the whole canvas, so that can be a problem. And I noticed this in other projects, especially with TextMesh Pro. If you have TextMesh Pro elements and you're turning them on and off, for whatever reason, I noticed huge spikes, lag spikes from doing that. So that is part of what we're doing. And we'll just close the window. Again, I keep plugging Odin, but I just love these buttons. I can have these open and close buttons here, open and close window buttons. Make it super simple. All right, let's save that. Let's go make sure that works now. And then maybe we'll go through the levels, make sure that the portal numbers is correct, because some of them are only allowing, that's not where I want to go. Muscle memory. I actually kind of hate that level.
Hi,
There we go. Oh, and it doesn't. Why didn't it close?
Letter writer and host of the hit podcast Heavyweight. Each day, thousands of postal service workers deliver millions of pieces.
Let's fix that.
To all kinds of conditions across the country. Every postal service worker has a story worth sharing, so we've teamed up with the USPS to deliver a few of them to you. No postage necessary.
Why is that not? That should be calling.
USPS mailbag at gimletmedia.com/USPS.
And now another edition of Obvious News from Geico. A study says that soft talkers do not make great radio personalities. We asked local librarian Steve Sage about this, and here's what he said.
Honestly, I don't buy
That is weird.
They make very captivating radio.
Also in Obvious News,
save money and easy to policy with the Geico.
Tech Dave, am I considering localization? The word chips would have to guess it. It's true. At least that would let everybody know that it was an American. I am thinking about localization. There's not a ton of text here, but there's definitely some. That's it's on my to-do list. It is on my to-do list. It's actually pretty high up on my to-do list.
Sound good? Then all you need to do is hit the banner.
See if this will load. This is my to-do list. Has some things that have been completed. Here are the things I still need to do. Actually, right now on the top of it is this localization tool. I don't even know what I meant by build settings. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do that. But I have a bunch of systems that I want to integrate. Localization tool. I want to bring in Unity Analytics. Unity has a way of players submitting feedback. So like if you have a bug, that might actually be next on my list to implement, is that ability for players to submit feedback. And it actually takes a little screenshot, and I think it emails it. So it's pretty nice and easy. Easy for the player, and then I get the information that I need. So there's my list of bugs. Okay, so why is that not working? Let's look at this here. So level designer, this has the same menu. So if and I need to fix this error too. It's looking for the next level. So why's that one broken? All right, well, let's fix that too. Level completes. I am very sure I changed that at some point, but maybe I left the scene and forgot to change it. Okay, let's save that. Now this should be, now maybe there's some race conditions. Maybe what's happening. I may be getting some race conditions. So let's go see what that looks like. So, yeah, so why is that not? So it's resetting. That's great. That's working. We're not even. My gut says it's turning off, but we have some race conditions going on here. Let's look at our reset level here. This shouldn't be doing anything. This just... Oh, it does. It does load the level. So we might have some race conditions going on there. I don't love using that on-click subscription in the inspector. I don't love that to start with. So maybe we will. Let's look at that. Let's look at the next level here. This is probably doing something very similar. Well, let's. All right, let's try this. Get component in parent of window pop-up. See if that exists. We'll do close window like that. Then we'll remove these on clicks. See if that works. Let's see if anybody's got questions. Oh, looks like I missed a handful. If you guys got questions, feel free to throw them into chat. I'll do my best to keep up with them. Let's see. Rider, you're looking at Game Creator Pro or RPG Builder, but third-party plugins scare me. I think that's pretty legitimate. I think large third-party plugins, I generally stay away from. But I will say, this is what I would say about those. If you're going to look at third-party systems, I think they can be really great to learn from. So I think it can be really good to go in and look and see how they did it. I've done this on a few. I've done this on a few assets. Did that with an inventory system. I went in and it was great. I learned a ton, but it was complicated and it wasn't doing what I wanted. So I made my own, and I did something similar with a day-night system. I got this one that was just beautiful. It really looked good, but it couldn't do some things that I wanted it to do. So I took a lot of their ideas and applied it to my own. So I think third party can be great for that. Let's see, Eduardo, you got some great advice here. So set active can do some nasty things in the UI, but you can stop the propagation of set dirty redraw that gets called on the UI by separating everything with canvases. I've heard that you can do a bunch of different canvases. You can also turn on and off the canvas, canvas enable. The UI doesn't render and avoids bad things. Yeah, interesting. Ever thought of Egen? I don't know what that is actually. Yeah, graphical boss. Sorry, I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, canvas groups are sweet. Oh, Tech Dave, you're right. I did change that. But actually, it shouldn't matter. You're right. I did change that, but I don't think that was the problem. Tech Dave, what I adjusted was this canvas group, and this same alpha value, this is how it's actually disappearing. All right. Yeah, there we go. So I think it was just race conditions. I think it had two things going on. So it was reloading the level, and actually this is probably a combination of what Tech Dave was saying. You're right, because I had turned that thing up so you could see it. It reloaded the level, and then it reloaded it with that higher value. There you go. Got a combination of a bunch of things going on there. That might be working for me. That no-go zone might be working for me. I thought this level was clever, and I've come to hate this level. All right, the next thing I want to do is go through and check the rebuild those the limits on these levels because they're not correct. For the most part, we need to double the teleporter number. So I'm looking at that. I think that one was okay. But we definitely want to have an even number of teleporters. Yeah, broke a whole bunch of levels. We'll do. Cool. One more reason I really like having all my levels on scriptable objects, just super easy to change right there. Yeah, I don't know why I used remove all on that script. Or I really don't know. There's probably was a reason back when. Okay, so that's working. We're good. Let's take a look at the to-do list. So I want to create a hint system. And this is going to be...
When it comes to luxury watch purchases, nothing is more important.
I think pretty simple. I think it's going to be pretty simple in its functionality. I don't...
Ensuring no fakes, no fraud, and no doubt about your investment. Plus, eBay covers the cost of the entire process.
I want to be careful with how I do this. And I'm sure what I create tonight won't be the final iteration. But I do want to... I want to create something to draw up the player's attention to things. I want to point things out. Even if it's just an arrow pointing at it and saying, hey, look at this. So I think it's going to be a UI element to do that. So I'm going to create a new panel. And we're going to shrink that down quite a bit.
With people outside your household and get medical attention quickly, you're helping us save lives too.
Let's have each
And we're going to do... We're going to do an image over here. And we're going to add in a arrow.
Series on point, plus other holiday favorites, Home Alone, Noel, and many more. And coming Christmas Day, exclusively on Disney Plus, Pixar's Soul.
I'm going to have an arrow, something like that.
Celebrate the holidays with Disney Plus.
I haven't fully thought this one through, but... Nope, that's not what I want. We're going to do Text Mesh Pro, and then we're going to convert that to Easy UI styles. And I want to keep this pretty simple. We're not going to have a lot of text here. Or we're not going to have a lot going on here. And I think I have a close button. And drag that onto here. How does that look size-wise? Kind of big. Shrink that down a little bit. We're going to leave that button. We're not going to wire that button up for right now. It'll just call close window. And let's look here where we want to... Let's get a style in here. Let's put a box on this outside here and see what that looks like first. I think I have a menu. Okay, we'll do that. That there. Let's lock our anchors in place. Our anchor's not locking in place. My anchor's not going to place. Oh, because my rect transform wasn't expanded, so I can't see them. Okay. Anyways. Do the same thing with our text here. Let's size this up so it doesn't go outside of our boundary. UI design is one of those things that I feel like I look forward to, and then I really don't enjoy it. Mostly because I think Unity's tools are janky. They just break. Tech Dave, yes, the TNT animation is wrong. Yeah, it explodes way too late. Need to speed it up. Most definitely. Well, and thanks to Eduardo, I know how to do that quick and easy. All right, let's see if I can. I hate Unity UI stuff so much that I'm gonna make a duplicate of this before I start messing around with this. At a layout element, we're gonna ignore. Oh, I should have done that beforehand. I don't want a style on this. Why did I choose a style on that one? Don't love that. Anyways. Okay. Back to this idea here. We're going to put, we're going to put some major boundaries on this thing. Okay, how's that looking? Still a bit too big on the sides. The right is still too much. There we go. Okay, now we're inside. What I want to do here is I can never remember how to do content size fitter. Vertical, we're going to go to preferred size. Why the frick did you do that? Seriously, Unity, what the? Unity, like, all right, I'm not gonna, we're not even gonna, not gonna deal with that right now. I don't begin to understand. I'm sure if you really have a deep understanding of the Unity UI system, it all really makes sense and it's great, but it drives me freaking crazy. Like, you just can't, you know, that why isn't there a button that just like says, you know, expand vertically with child? I don't know. All right. Anyways, we're gonna work on the formatting of things later. And pop up. All right. And then we're going to let's create a new script for this. So we're gonna go to UI. So many UI scripts in this game. All right, we're gonna call this hint pop up. Oh, Eduardo, I was just trying to make it make the whole window size of the text. I'll figure it out later. It drives me crazy. I know there's ways to do it, but I find the labeling of stuff. I find the labeling of a lot of that functionality in the Unity UI system really unintuitive. Oh. Tech Dave, I do have a playlist. Let me see if I can find it for you. All my video or streams for the most part are, I leave them as unlisted just so they don't clog things up too much. Let's see. What's the best way to get those to you? Oop.
This summer for the Game Makers
Oh,
Toolkit
geez,
Game
shut
Jam.
up. All right. Here you go, Tech Dave. Here's a playlist for this project. And on there are the live streams from this last week. If that's what you're looking for. There's also a playlist of just live streams, which goes back quite a while. Let's see where that is. Okay, so hint pop-up, we're gonna need our Unity UI system, serialize field, private. We're also gonna need Text Mesh Pro in here. Okay, we got hint text, and then we're also gonna have, I don't know how I'm gonna deal with this arrow. Maybe it's not what I want to do. I'm kind of imagining that this arrow could point in the direction of the thing that I'm talking about. I don't actually know how to do that with the UI system. I'm imagining this definitely doable. But I'm kind of imagining that this text pops up. And then the pointer can point to things. And we're going to keep it pretty simple that there's going to need to be, I'm going to have to create some sort of database of these hints of when they get played, when they do it. It might have to be per level. I had something like that before. Well, and maybe we'll just tap into that. Probably the best way to get started. So let's do all right.
Taking me pretty much everywhere I could want to go.
So let's also get a Canvas group in here.
Most freestyle riders don't even get to see their kids grow up. Family made me a lot happier, so that's where I
So if CG equals null, we're gonna do CG equals this, get component canvas group.
Health Plans presents Life on the Western Slope. Watch
Like that.
Eric's story at rmhpstories.com.
I'm also going to add in a
Save you from falling into a snacking rut with their satisfying crunch, delicious
do a duration.
as you tackle your to-do.
Maybe.
Yes.
We'll do it for like,
Post-vacation inbox. Bring it with
I don't know, 15 seconds.
to learn more.
I don't know if I'll use that.
Purdue University Global is a public online university that lets you
Hey, Tech Dave, thanks again for stopping by. Much appreciated.
175 program options with new terms starting every month. You can
I'll see you
spend
around.
less time waiting and more time advancing your career. You may be able
All
to
right,
apply
hint
work
text.
experience and eligible transfer credits to save nearly half the cost of your bachelor's degree. Finish
Why
your
are you
studies
not? Oh, because I
and
need a.
take your career to new heights. Purdue Global is here. Apply at purdueglobal.edu or by calling 844 Purdue G.
Right, it's not static. We could. I don't actually like finding things in the or assigning things in the inspector anyway. So let's just do it this way. Int text equals null. Int text equals this get component, not get component. Get component in children. Text Mesh Pro. If pointer. No, we'll do. So then one get component, one get component in children. That one might backfire on me. I feel like the get component in children will also search itself. Oh, that just won't work. All right, we're going with it for now. We're not going to use the pointer. Fix this. It probably won't work. Because there's an image component on the parent or on the root object, there's one on the close button, there's one on the arrow, so that's probably not going to work. Okay, so then what we want to do is hint text equals hint. And we're also going to make this part of our window pop-up. Like that. So we're gonna do is a static thing just gonna be now let's avoid the static for now. All right. Okay, we're gonna set the hint. We're going to open the window like that. Also on enable, that's right, we need to call base on enable. We're going to close the window like that. Just make sure this thing is closed when we need it. One of the things I haven't figured out is I want to be able to move this around on the screen. And that in itself is maybe not all that hard. But I haven't quite figured out how I want to maybe encode that or save that information or indicate that information. Why are you objecting to this? Oh, okay. The pop-up window already has a canvas group, so I don't need to have that in there. Okay. And let's just do it while we can. Enumerator. Close window, delayed. Something like this. Yield, return. New, wait for seconds. Play. Close window like that. Oop. Blade. Oh, did I spell it? I spelled it differently, probably. Oh, I got to pass in the duration, obviously. Okay. So that'll leave us a little pop-up. Probably adding a little bit of juice of some animation. Probably not a bad thing. Where do you get the latest news of programming? I don't know. I don't know much about the web development world. No idea where the hot stuff is there, where the latest news is. In terms of gaining views, you know, you gotta put out some good content. Put out some good content and be patient. What is that about the iDrag handler? Oh, use the iDrag handler to move this to position it? Is that what you're suggesting? How do you make good content? That's a mystery. I'm still figuring that one out. I'm still very much figuring that one out. I mean, I think in terms of good content, I think you have to, for me, I think there's a mix between making content that's interesting to you. I think that's important that it's interesting to you, and what's in your niche, right? Like, my two most popular videos are some of my lowest effort videos I've ever made, but they are things that people keep looking for and searching for, and it's trial and error. You got to learn how to do it. And iDrag handler, to move the window around, but I want to move it. I don't necessarily want the player to be moving it. I want this to kind of pop up in different places with the different messages. So for example, on like the first level where you can add something, this could pop up and do a little animation with the arrow pointing towards the thing that you might want to animate. Okay, so let's take a look at, let's grab a little bit of text filler. Let's put in a little bit of text here. That's a little too much. All right, now we get some text in there. Let's add a little animation here. I don't want the animator. Yeah, no, we'll figure out how to move it around for sure. It's more a matter of like, how do I encode somewhere into this hint that I want it to be in this part of the window or down over here? And maybe that's just a matter of, maybe that's not as hard as I think it is. All right. Hint pop up. Okay, so let's just do. I want to be careful that this isn't hugely annoying. Right, because I want the player to read this. I want to catch their attention, but I don't want to have another. I don't have any other. Look at that. I'm learning using my hotkeys left and right. Let's see. What does that look like on a full? I think that works. A little bit of motion. Maybe we'll make it just a tad. Maybe we go to.
We know a thing or two about making legendary whiskey. Since 1780, every single drop
Just a tad bit bigger.
has been triple distilled. Whether it's neat, on the rocks, or in a delicious cocktail, Jameson is crafted for smooth sipping.
Well, that feels readable, but there's still some motion. It's going to pull the eye.
Legendary smoothness. Jameson. Smoothness is always worth sharing. Taste responsibly. Copyright 2020 imported by John Jameson.
I will answer the questions as quick as I can. You just want to see what people are searching? Well, you can look at Google Trends. Google Trends is the way to do it. I think chasing trends is a very hard way to make YouTube content. I don't know. I don't have the bandwidth to do that. For me, it takes a huge amount of time to make a video. So trying to get on a a trend bandwagon, I don't know. Maybe you got more skills than I do, but I find it hard. So I'd look at Google Trends, one way to do it. There are some other YouTube paid things that supposedly help with that. vidIQ and TubeBuddy, I think they're garbage, and my guess is I think they're garbage, but some people really like them. Okay, I think that works. But I think mostly if you want to make content, you want to get viewers. You got to put in a lot of time to figure out how to get it done. And you need some luck too. Okay. So all right, so I actually, let's take a look here. We do have this hint info here, where I've already got the time. I've already got this kind of wait duration, that was more about how long in a level do we wait to show it, which I also think is a good thing to do. We got the hint itself, but we'll also need to encode a little bit more information in that. Alrighty, I am running out of steam here. I'm running out of steam. We got a little bit done. We got the new exclusion zone in. I think it looks much better. I think the behavior is much better without moving those objects. We got some bugs fixed. I think that might be all that I am capable of doing this evening. I've got this. We got this hint pop up in here. Let's make it a prefab before I forget about it. We can move it into the other scene. All right. I think I'm gonna call it quits. So thank you guys so much for joining. Much appreciated. A few new faces here. I think next Saturday is Christmas. I will most likely know it's the day after Christmas. So maybe probably be back next Saturday, but I'll also be doing some streaming next week at a different time, more like late morning my time. So anyways, thank you guys. Much appreciated. See you guys later.